Overheating your engine this summer has nothing to do with the heat outside. That's not how it works, and if you've ever blamed a boiling engine purely on the weather, I need to stop you right there. There's a habit almost every driver has, something so normal you probably do it every single day without even thinking about it, and it's quietly setting your cooling system up to fail exactly when you can least afford it. I'm not telling you what it is yet, because first I want to walk you through the 5 warning signs your car is already giving you, long before that temperature needle ever climbs into the red. And then I'm giving you a 5-minute check. 5 minutes. That could be the difference between a normal drive and standing on the shoulder watching steam roll out from under your hood. If that sounds like something worth knowing before your next trip, do me a favor and hit that like button right now, because it genuinely helps this reach the next person who's about to find out the hard way. Let's start with sign number 1, and it's hiding in plain sight on your own dashboard. Most drivers have no idea what their temperature gauge normally reads. They only ever look at it once, and that's the day it's already sitting in the red. Here's the fix, and it costs you nothing. In the first few minutes of any drive, glance at that needle and actually register where it sits once the engine warms up. That's your baseline. Once you know you're normal, you'll catch it instantly the day it creeps even slightly higher than usual. Days or even weeks before it becomes an emergency. Sign number 2 is one you'll notice with your nose before you ever see it on a gauge. If you catch a faint, sweet smell inside or around your car, that's not your imagination. Coolant is made from ethylene glycol, and it has a genuinely distinct, sweet odor, almost like something you'd want to bake with, which is exactly what makes it dangerous around kids and pets. That smell usually shows up before any warning light does, because a slow leak doesn't trip a sensor right away, but your nose picks it up almost immediately. If your car ever smells a little too sweet, don't brush it off as an air freshener doing its job. Sign number 3 lives under the hood, and it's a sound, not a smell, or a light. A light knocking or pinging coming from the engine bay, especially one that wasn't there before, can mean your engine is running hotter than it should internally. I'm not going to turn this into a lecture on detonation and combustion timing, because that's not what matters here. What matters is this. If your engine starts making a new sound you can't explain, treat that as data, not background noise. Sign number 4 is the one that actually surprises people the most, and I want to clear up a myth while we're here, because this is where a lot of advice gets it backwards. If your AC suddenly starts blowing warmer air in the middle of a drive, that's often your cooling system telling you it's struggling, since the two systems share resources under the hood. Now here's the myth I need to bust. A lot of people believe running your AC at full blast is what causes overheating in the first place, so they turn it off to protect the engine. In a healthy system, that's simply not true. The AC warming up isn't the cause of a cooling problem, it's a symptom of one. We're not here to invent scary rules just to sound smart. We're here to correct the ones that are actually wrong. And that one's wrong. Sign number 5 is the dashboard warning light itself, and I need you to understand something important about it. That light is not your early warning system. It's your last line of defense. By the time it turns on, your engine is already under real thermal stress, not approaching it. That's exactly why the first 4 signs matter so much more than people give them credit for, because they're the version of this warning that shows up while you still have time to act calmly, instead of pulling over in a panic. And honestly, if the idea of catching a problem before that light ever comes on sounds useful to you, that's the entire reason this channel exists. So if you're not subscribed yet, now's a good moment to fix that, because there's a lot more of this kind of catch-it-early knowledge coming. Now let's get into the actual 5-minute check, the one I promised you at the start, and I'm walking you through it step by step so you can genuinely do this in your own driveway. First, and most important, only ever check your coolant reservoir when the engine is cold. I need to be direct about this one, because it's not just good advice, it's a real safety issue. Never open a radiator cap on a hot engine. The system is pressurized, and opening it while it's hot can send scalding coolant and steam straight at your hands and face. Wait until the engine has fully cooled before you touch anything. Once it's cold, look at the reservoir. The coolant should look translucent and colored, usually green, orange, or pink, depending on what your car uses. If it looks cloudy, murky, or has that rusty brown tint to it, that's a sign the coolant has broken down and needs attention, not just a top-up. Next, look around the hoses connected to the reservoir and radiator for any whitish residue or crusty buildup. That's often the fingerprint of a slow leak, the kind that hasn't dumped enough fluid yet to show up as a puddle on your driveway, but is still draining your system little by little over time. Then check the rubber seal on the radiator cap itself. If it's cracked, hardened, or deformed, your system can't hold the pressure it's designed to hold, which means your coolant boils at a lower temperature than it should. That tiny piece of rubber is doing more work than people realize. Last step, start the car and let it run while stopped, especially somewhere warm. And watch to see if your electric cooling fan kicks on by itself. If it never turns on, that fan isn't doing its job, and that's often the exact reason a car runs perfectly fine on the highway, but starts creeping toward hot the moment you're sitting still in traffic. That's it. 5 checks, 5 minutes, and now you know exactly what healthy looks like under your hood instead of guessing. But let's say it happens anyway, because I'd rather you know what to do than hope you never need it. If you're driving and you see that needle climbing, turn your AC off immediately, and yes, turn your heater on, all the way up. I know that sounds backwards when you're already hot and stressed, but your heater pulls heat directly out of the engine and into the cabin, which genuinely helps take pressure off the system. Get to a safe shoulder as soon as you reasonably can. Do not, under any circumstances, open that radiator cap while it's hot. And please don't just top off the reservoir and keep driving like nothing happened. Call a tow truck instead. Pushing forward on an already overheated engine is how a simple coolant issue turns into a cracked cylinder head. And that's a repair bill in a completely different universe than the one we're talking about today. I'll be honest with you, none of this makes your engine bulletproof. No 5-minute check eliminates every possible way a cooling system can fail. But it does mean you'll catch almost everything before it turns into a roadside emergency. And that's really the whole point. If this is the kind of thing that actually helps you drive with a little more confidence this summer, go check out the video right before this one, because it walks through exactly what to do the moment you do end up on the shoulder, step by step, so you're never standing there guessing what comes next.